Hello, my name is Penny, and I am here to speak to you about encouraging patriotism in your children. And the need for encouraging patriotism in your children has never been greater than it is at this time. Parents need to lead by example and educate their children. Imagine not being able to decide for yourself about what you believe or fearing that you would be persecuted for what you do believe in. Being told who you could pray to or how you're going to believe, and then risking who you can pray to, for your forefathers fought many battles, risking their lives for the many freedoms that you do have. I pledge allegiance to the United States of America has now become, it is my freedom of speech to burn the flag of the United States of America. It is our freedom of speech, but that is the very flag that represents all that our forefathers fought for. Maybe your father, grandfather, or great-grandfather was one of those brave men that fought in World War I or World War II, the Korean or Vietnam War. Maybe your brother or sister is fighting in the service now as I speak. Today, I would like to speak to you first about the importance of teaching our children about patriotism and what it means. And then secondly, we need to share with them the stories of their ancestors and all the freedom that they fought to ensure that we would have. They need to learn to stand up for those freedoms and to be proud of their heritage. First, I want to share with you the importance of teaching your children about patriotism. Many children do not know the importance of patriotism in the United States and the importance of the United States flag. They don't know all that it stands for. Meantime, our schools are teaching our children the freedom of speech, and along with that, their freedom to burn the American flag, the flag that their family fought to defend for decades. Many Americans do not feel their vote counts, so therefore they don't teach their children growing up that it's important to vote and that they do need to vote, and their vote does count. In Americans 18 to 24 years of age, 45.3% reported being registered voters last year, and only 21.3% reported actually voting in the 2010 election. It is up to us as parents to teach them about being an American and what all that affords them and how blessed and privileged we are to live in America. Second, you need to teach them and share with them the stories of their grandfathers and their great-grandfathers and the wars that they fought and died in. Make it personal to them. Let them know that it's not just a history book. Help them to understand that it is actually their own flesh and blood that is fighting in the wars and that died for them. It wasn't just some name in a history book. Teach them about the wars that their ancestors fought in and what the wars represented. Why were they fighting in those wars? What did they mean? Share with them the freedoms that we have as Americans. You know, people that live in other countries, they aren't as blessed as we are. They don't have some of the freedoms that we have here in America. Finally, you want to teach them to stand up for those freedoms and be proud of their heritage. I can remember as a child, my father would remove his hat and put his hand over his heart when they would sing the national anthem on TV before a baseball game. I still have that image embedded in my mind, and that's the kind of patriotism we need to instill in our children. I take my daughter with me every time I go to vote. She is very proud of her I voted sticker. I want to let her know why she should vote. I talk to her about how I came to my decisions so that she can make an educated vote for herself when it's time for her to be able to vote. You want to instill that in your children so that as they get older, then they will go out and vote as well. Your children need to realize that if they do not stand up for their freedoms, and if they don't know the meaning of patriotism, then somebody else isn't going to teach them that. That is something that you have to teach them. That's part of your duty as a mother and a father, is to instill that in them so that they understand what it means to be an American citizen and how fortunate we truly are. As you can see, if we do not encourage patriotism in our children, no one else will. It is something that you must do in order for your children to enjoy the freedoms that we are able to enjoy now. So encourage your children to stand up for their freedoms. Stand for the national anthem. Remove their hat. Put their hand over their heart. Let them know that they should be proud to be an American. Maybe your father or your grandfather risked their lives for nothing. Maybe they fought for their country only to have their grandchildren take it all for granted. Maybe it was just in vain. I'm going to leave you with this thought. Your children will not know what a privilege it is to live in this great nation unless you instill that patriotism in them. It is your responsibility to teach them to stand up and be proud to live in the United States of America. If you do not, this great nation may not be the land of the free and the home of the brave for generations to come. We must stand up.